Something at the news. A lot of people been talking about it. So you know what we're gonna do here. We're gonna talk about it. Judge rules that NFL player Tyreek Hill is the father of another child. He reportedly has over 12 children, and it's his fifth kid so far this year. Now let's talk about it because Tyreek was getting a lot of backlash from the amount of kids he has, the number of baby mamas, and how frequently he's been having them. Now, if you guys don't know, like it was said before in the post, Tyreek Hill is an NFL player for the Miami Dolphins, right? Now, when I preface it like that, I just said he's an NFL player. He's not a scrub, top five wide receiver, whatever you want to talk about it. So, obviously, he has the money to take care of these kids, right? Now, people was kind of getting at him, having a lot of kids, a lot of different baby mamas, all the other stuff. Now, when Tyreek was asked about it, he just said he's from the South. That's what they do, okay? Now, this isn't the first NFL player to have a bunch of kids, but probably the last one in a few years that we really actually cared about because usually the NFL players don't have children as often as Tyreek Hill is having them. Now, maybe you'll see this from like a rapper or something like that where, their life is a little bit more flexible and not so standard and organized like maybe like a professional athlete is. But at the end of the day, he's a professional athlete, right? So I don't see why he was getting so much backlash for this because I can understand if it's like, I don't know, let's just say like, I don't even want to say like a job. Let's say somebody that only makes like $35,000 a year and they're having this many kids. Okay, I can see why that might be alarming or why that might be a problem. But this is an NFL player. Now, even with his strict schedule, he has the financial ability to be able to take care of the kids. But it raises another question. Okay, you got the money to take care of the kids, but at the end of the day, when you have kids, it's not about just what you can buy for them. It's about actually being in their life and actually being a parent. But even with that being said, right, when you're in a different tax bracket, it might be hard for someone who doesn't make that much money to be able to go state to state or even city to city to make time for his kids. As a professional athlete, he has the money, he has the accessibility to have any type of transportation that he needs to get to see his kids as frequently as he wants to, right? So I don't think that's the problem. I think what people will actually be most upset about is if he turns out that he is a deadbeat dad and he's actually not taking care of these kids and he's not actually in their kids' life. That's what you can kind of give him flack for, right? But it's still too early to say, because as long as you're being a good father and you're actually being present in your kid's life, I think that's all that really matters. Like the material stuff, like, yes, you can buy them whatever, they can have a good life, but like children need more than just something you can provide them with for a good life. Because when they're young like that, they're not even going to remember all the stuff that you actually gave them. All those young memories is going to be the memories that they have with spending with, their father or their mother, family time, right? So as long as Tyreek Hill is still able to be in this kid's life and not just make it a thing where, I bought my kid this and I bought my kid this, I don't think it's really a problem. Now, that problem I had was, like I said, it was a lot of people that was giving them backlash for this, right? But he's in a different situation than the average human is. For the average person, human, whatever you want to call it, to have that many kids in that span of time might be a problem, right? But if you have access to whatever transportation financially that you can actually be in your kid's life, I really don't think it's going to be a problem. Now, the problem that he might have with having so many kids and so many different baby mamas, the child support. It don't matter how much money you make, if you constantly are paying child support for numerous kids, it's obviously going to affect you. We've seen basketball players, NFL players, just professional athletes in general, rappers, be on the high end when it comes to the tax bracket and watch all that slowly dwindle away because of, not paying child support, got a little back pay on the child support, or even if you are keeping up with the child support, you got so many kids, you dish out this money. If you're not still a professional athlete or you're not still in your field of business where it's caused you to make this much money, that's where it's going to be the problem. Tyreek Hill is still in the league. So as far as I'm concerned, he will still be able to take care of this, right? Now, a lot of people, in the peanut gallery, talking about, oh, that's not fair and yada yada yada. We really just gotta wait to see how this unfolds, because I haven't heard any reports from any of the baby mamas saying that Tyreek Hill is a bad father. Now, some of the baby mamas did make some other claims about Tyreek Hill, but it doesn't pertain to how he's actually taking care of his kids. So we just gotta wait and see how this truly plays out. But just off rip, I'm already hoping for the best for the time. Ooh, I'm already hoping the best for Tyreek Hill, because as a black man, you already have that moniker that that you already are going to be a deadbeat dad, and I don't think we just put these titles on people before it's actually being shown. Like, the average person, like, oh, I'd be a bad dad if I had 12 kids, but it's like it's a case by case situation. Everybody's situation is different, right? Now, it comes down to years, and Tyreek Hill is always with his kids. You see him go to events, and he got all his kids. You see him out and about with his kids. A lot of y'all gonna owe him an apology, because a lot of you guys are just doubting him based off what you think you can or what you can't do. We don't know what Tyreek Hill is capable to do as a father. The people who know Tyreek Hill, the average fan, football watcher, whatever, we know him about his play on the field. Great football player. I don't know how he is as a dad, so I'm not just going to be like, oh, Tyreek Hill, he got too many kids, he can't be a dad. He's going to be a deadbeat dad, or whatever the case may be. We just got to see how this all plans out. But the question I really have is, for some of y'all, I was chiming and giving you a little 2 cents about what you would do and what you wouldn't stand for. Now I'm gonna ask y'all. Now I'm specifically asking y'all to answer me. Can y'all be with somebody with so many kids? Whether it's a boyfriend, a baby daddy. If you're a female in this situation, how would you feel about the situation? Because I'm not even gonna ask men how they feel about a woman having so many kids. Because without saying the answer, I could probably assume how that would go over. But that's just me. You know what I mean? I don't know it to be a fact or anything like that. That's just how I feel personally. And the next question I have, is this irresponsible or unfair to his kids? Now, I did talk about him being able to have the accessibility to, travel, the finance to get to his kids and do for his kids, so his kids would never go without. But we really got to think about, is this unfair to his kids? How are his kids going to feel when they get older, and maybe, okay, this Christmas you spend with this half of your kids, and this half of your kids, and this half of your kids? I think that's when it's going to start to get the waters are going to start to get a little muddy, just because, I mean, that's a lot of kids. You know what I mean? Like, just having 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 is a lot, but being who he is doesn't change the fact that he does have a lot of kids, and that's always something you got to think about. So I want to know what you guys feel about that. Is this irresponsible, or is it unfair to his kids? Because like I said, everybody, that's why I always say it's a case-by-case situation. I need to do a segment called case-by-case situation, because something that works in somebody else's relationship might not work in somebody else's relationship, right? Everybody is different. Everybody has different understandings and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, we don't know if these women aren't okay with it, because, okay, let's think about the 4th baby mom that decided to have kids with him, and he already had 8 kids, right? You made a choice to have kids with this man, knowing that he already has this kid. So, like, I don't want her to be one of the ones like, oh yeah, Tyreek Hill is a deadbeat daddy. But it's like, to be fair, you kind of did come like on the tail end when he was already having babies, and he had already had a couple different baby mamas and babies by then. So don't be okay with it now, so you can get the check and all that stuff. But the slightest inconvenience for you, don't make it seem like, oh, well, Tyreek is this and he can't do this and he can't do this. We're just gonna have to wait and see how this plans out.